Thank you, Lindy, for those headlines there. As I was saying earlier, our Frank Talk tonight is with the Executive Mayor of Ekurhuleni, Mzwandile Masina. My brother, always good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
How are
I
you?
always watch your show.
Thank you. Yeah, but you've not called us, man. I feel neglected by you.
No, you're no longer on radio. No, you're on TV.
No, we have to open the lines. By the way, you can call us if you want to talk to Mzwandile Masina. And you can also WhatsApp us. You can also send us some tweets there. So there's a phone line now, 010-594-5140. You must call us from time to time. I know that you always bend to debate things, and you know that's what we need. You know.
When I was coming here, my political mother was saying, "You, Manak, will you survive, JJ?" I said, "You'll see me. I'll survive." I
must tell people a secret that you came to my radio show.
Yeah.
And then at the end you said, "Yeah, no, you see, when you retire, you're going to be a radio show so that you can invite me, so that you can grill me."
Yeah.
So I'm still looking forward to that.
You'll see. I hope give me a chance there.
Good luck with that. But listen, man, let's start with the politics. How do you feel about just the unity of the end? I want to focus on the unity because, you know, when you listen to Mzwandile Masina and you listen to, let's say, somebody like maybe Lekwete at the head office, sometimes you find that the emphasis is not the same, the tonality is not the same, you know, and sometimes you may even find policy contradictions, you know. We have this, and I'll use the Reserve Bank one as but there are many examples, but the Reserve Bank is a typical one, where your secretary tweets something to say, this is what's happening, the 51 conference, what, and then the presidency, you know, says, or doesn't attend to it, or whatever. I had the Reserve Bank as my guest about 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Who just said, now this thing of a Reserve Bank leadership is all noise and what have you. How do you feel about that sense of discord that seems to be coming through? Or are we making too much of it? In other words, we need to expect now that the ANC is a democratic organization, and in a democratic organization there will be contradictions. It's not like in the 60s where you didn't have social media and what, so people could differ only in a meeting. These days people differ. You know, if somebody can differ with you now, when you leave here there'll be tweets saying, no, what didn't Mzwandile say? You know, please make me understand where we're sitting in that regard. Well,
the ANC is a non-racial, non-sexist and democratic organization. So we contest each other's ideas with humility. The one thing that I must get off the way that is preoccupying South Africans is that come the NGC, hell will break loose. Yeah. I can assure you that the NGC is going to be peaceful. Our president is going to address us. Yeah. He will come out of the conference as our president because we love him. Yeah. So that is one side. But it doesn't mean that when there are issues that are critical, to cite the example that you are making, for instance, about the Reserve Bank, I have a very strong views. Yeah. I've taken a lot of time to study what is going on. I believe that the ANC conference was not wrong, the 54th National Conference, to come up with a resolution that firstly, let's expand the mandate of the bank beyond price stability to include things like growth and employment in the bank. So I believe that those things need to happen, including nationalizing the bank. That's a debate we must have in the ANC. I'm not worried about...
to reopen it?
No, not opening. It must happen. I'm not worried about the governor of the bank because he's not a political, he's not a politician, he's employed by us.
But you seem to be worried about the finance minister because it's in his purview.
Well, I'll come to that. But the issue I'm raising is that I'm not worried about the governor. The governor will do as we say. That's one thing that people must understand. So he can call us baboons waiting in the gate. We're going to enter there in that bank.
Did he say that? No, he didn't say that.
Yes, he did. And he called us baboons waiting
No, not baboons, I think barbarians. Barbarians waiting at the gate.
Waiting at the gate. I can assure you
the figure of speech, man.
We will enter there and the bank will be transformed. And let me make this point so that South Africans can understand. You know, the average shareholder of the Reserve Bank owns 10,000 shares. And in monetary terms, you get about 200,000 rands. As your dividends. So let's make an assumption. We don't know who, but we all know they all own on average 10,000, and there's only 2 million shares that have been made on offer, and there's 765 or odd of them. So on average, everyone gets 200,000. So the debate that says that now there are two guys, Michael Lang and Michael DER and foreign guys from Germany, when we take over the bank, we must pay them substantial amount of money. It's rubbish. And anyone who's got a different information, including the governor, I challenge him, because there is no way such an institution will be so expensive. We are told that we're going to pay trillions. There's nothing like that. What is at the center?
I think it's going to be expensive to buy them out because their influence is minimal, and therefore it won't be a justified cost. That's what he said to us.
You know who owns the Reserve Bank? It's me and you, it's the post office, it's the banks. So just imagine that contradiction. Why would a bank be shareholder of the bank of the last resort? What is the rationale behind that? The rationale, there is many of the owners of the bank, they own the bank for the purposes of influence, not for the purposes of making money. So no one is making money at the bank. But the bank, what we know as a matter of fact, the bank trades with other foreign banks here in SADC. All the 17 or 26 banks, they trade with our Reserve Bank. And what happens there is a lot of import-export that is happening that me and you will never be able to understand what is happening. So we've got to make sure that we're able to do that. But what is good with our Reserve Bank is that in the mandate that it has pursued since its formation, they have been excellent in managing price stability. We're saying, let's expand.
They can do more.
Yes. Let them do more in the interest of our country, because why is our economy not growing? What are the issues that are related to that? We're saying that we need to tamper with macroeconomic policy in the country in order for us to make advances. Just today we learned that our economy has reached the recession.
The recession is
and we don't have,
again.
like, we are told, fold your hands, do nothing. And we're saying, let's open the bank, let's see whether or not.
But exactly, I'm glad you raised that issue in terms of what that needs to be done, right? Do you think that outside the Reserve Bank, there are things that we should be doing differently in terms of stimulating the economy?
Yes.
Right? And hence you are sitting with, and I would come to the private sector later. I just wanted to focus on what government and the ruling party should be doing differently, right, to change things. Because if you look at the Minister of Finance's paper of last year, this is all maintenance stuff, man. You know, I mean, if there is a radical economic transformation document, I'll be surprised.
Look, when our economy deindustrialized in the 80s, in the 1980s, that's the last time we saw the growth trajectory in terms of jobs in our country. Always, even at the peak of our economy during President Thabo Mbeki, you can go check these facts, when our economy grew at about 5%, the unemployment still set at above 20%. So it must tell you that there is something structural, fundamental that must be changed. And I dare contend that when the ANC went to that conference, because what we must not do, JJ, as a matter of principle, there are two things when you go to a national elective conference. One, you elect the leaders. We love all of them, all 86 of them, from Ramaphosa to Nambalasa. I don't know who's Nambalasa. But we want them to understand that we did not elect them for free lunch. We elected them to implement our resolution. Therefore, we can't be correct to elect them. We must celebrate them. And we are wrong when it comes to our decision. That's why we are putting internal pressure, not because we undermine the leadership. I have a very decent relationship with President Ramaphosa. I get a message on Christmas where he calls me, how are you? So South Africans must never be sold a lie that there's a problem. But I am raising these issues fundamentally. You've never heard me talking about NHI because I'm very limited, so I don't know. I talk about the economic transformation resolutions because I have been engaged with that ever since the ANC trained us to learn something in our own life. And I believe that we can only change the ANC from within. We can't change the ANC from outside. I am not going to leave, or I'm not going to allow anyone to push me out because I hold strong views.
But why did you say, do you think you spoke out of 10 when you said you'll resign if Ramaphosa became president? Was it in the heat of campaigning? Because everybody, obviously, the Democratic Organization had to campaign to whoever they want. Well, you seem to have, been on the extreme side to say, yeah, I'll just resign if he became president. No.
What happened there, JJ, maybe this show will help me, because all the time, the people who can't debate with me on Twitter, me and Paki are hot there. Sometimes it's not me, it's Paki who raises issues.
Sorry, I'm told I need to take a break. Just pause there. Okay. You'll pick it up after the video. Help you to give me a straight answer. What happened there? I was talking to Mzwandile Masina. Always a pleasure talking to Mzwandile as a mayor of Ekurhuleni. It's going to be, later on, we're going to talk about what's happening in Ekurhuleni there, the issues about clean audits, all sorts of interesting things there. And also the coalition government looks like that's the one that's intact. All the others are crumbling around us. Okay? Let's take a break now. All right, our frank talk with Mzwandile Masina continues. I'm raising it not as a frivolous thing, but as a thing that says, is there enough freedom, right, in the ANC for people to actually comment about our leaders and what they like, what they don't like, right, ahead of the elections, like we had in Nasrec, even after? Yes. Or is it something that is conned upon that, don't, because, there's this debate, and you must also comment on that, where the secretary says, yeah, no, you must support Zuma because Zuma was president, and what if the NEC says something completely opposite? Well, you must go there in your personal capacity and so on. But address this one of, yes, I'll resign if Ramaphosa became president. Let's get that out of the way.
Well, let's get it over the way. The fact is that I didn't say I will resign.
What did you say?
Yes, let me explain what I said. There was a question. Remember, I was supporting another candidate.
Yes.
There is now a president, so I'm not going to go there. So a journalist says to me, I'm here in your branch. There are people who say that you stole a register.
Yeah.
I was in Mozambique with Tony Yengeni.
Yeah.
So I sent them a location and the proof of the ticket that, no, I'm not around.
Yeah.
Then he changes the question. He says, no. Actually, these people say that when you lose in Nasrec,
yeah,
they are coming for you.
I see.
And then I said, no, in the ANC we don't work like that. Yeah. When we lose in Nasrec, there will be leadership. We'll subject ourselves under that leadership.
Yeah.
However, if that leadership feels that we are not worthy enough or not doing a good job, when they ask me, Mr. Mayor, step down, I will make it easy for them. I'll step down. That's what I said.
That's the context. The context was that you will not cling to power,
no,
even if you are asked to leave.
I will not even ask them, why must I leave? I've done what I have to do. If the leadership sees otherwise, I didn't come there because I've got the greatest CV. Probably there are a lot of brightest people in Ekurhuleni, but I'm here to serve. At this point, I'm still serving and I'm enjoying my job. I love the job I'm doing.
Yeah. Tell me, in terms of the Zuma thing now, right, what is your perspective there? Because it seems that we're still organized along the factional lines of pre-Nasrec. Unless I'm reading it wrong, please clarify me.
Well, you are reading it wrong, because firstly, the Nasrec has settled the elections. Yeah. President Ramaphosa and the collective have now been elected.
Yes.
And they've been given a mandate through policies around radical economic transformation policies. Yeah. The fact that there are people who I doubt many of them were at conference, they don't know how those resolutions were arrived. I was there. I saw how we fought for the expropriation of land without compensation, the Reserve Bank, free education, and so on. I was there. I'm not being told by the third party. Now, President Zuma is a president, is a former president of the country, and is a president of the ANC. All our presidents are called like that. Yeah. So we support all our leaders. And you will see, I was saying to one colleague who I'm working very close to, say that at the tail end of the term of President Ramaphosa, there will be not people who will be calling for his head. It will be myself and others who are principled who will defend him, because we are taught to defend the leadership of the ANC. At all times in Ekurhuleni, when I'm under attack, I'm defended by the membership. Yeah. So it will not be difficult for me to defend leadership, including President Ramaphosa. Now, I went to OR Tambo to receive President Zuma in my capacity as a person who worked with President Zuma. When I received him, one of the things that I made it clear is that I don't want this to appear, because I'm an elected leader of the ANC, but also I'm a deployed cadre of the ANC. I don't want to appear to be affirming a faction, the so-called RT force. I'm not party to that.
You're not part of the RT forces.
No, I can use the term when I'm joking with my comrades. When I talk to Mbalo, I say, when I want to irritate him, I say, hey, me and Tona RT force, he gets upset, we laugh about it. But I am not an RT force. Okay. I'm the leader of the African National Congress. I'm elected. So when I went there, I made sure that we go there, we address, we welcome our president, we've gone home. One of the profound things I've said there, and which the media have not picked up, I appealed that President Ramaphosa, on the grounds of humanity, must find time in his busy schedule to see the sick former president of the ANC.
No, come on, man. Are you saying that he has not gone to visit Jacob Zuma even in his sickness throughout?
I was saying that
because that's suggested in your.
If he has not done so,
yeah,
we would like to see it here in your television that the two presidents hugging, meeting, so that every human being who's got some sort of delusion that there is division in the ANC must understand, because leadership is an epitome of what should happen in society.
Yeah.
So,
but the fact that you can raise it like that, Mzwandile, you may have to talk frankly about this, right?
Yes.
It means that while unity is desirable, it seems like it's still an illusion at the moment, because an illusion or at least a goal, if I'm to be charitable.
Look, I had a private chat with President Zuma.
Yeah.
He's committed to the unity of he loved the African National Congress. On all the occasions when I've got a chat with President Ramaphosa, he loved the ANC, he loved the unity of the ANC. The fact that they might not have met now, there might be other things, but I also don't want to be this child who's so chachara can speak about why elders have not met. I've just made a call that the elders must meet to display unity within the African National Congress, so that all of us who are followers, because I don't want to be labeled. This is I saw you had a diagram here where you say, here are the fight back forces. I'm not a fight back force. I'm a child of the ANC.
Who had a diagram?
405.
Oh, I see. No, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a diagram here where you had our heads, Suprema. Others are labeled as well.
Yeah.
And that thing is wrong, because people must be judged after the court of law has pronounced.
Yeah.
Musebenzi's one he's a member of parliament. He's supposed to be respected, but he gets attacked. Suprema Umapi, Esma Hashule, the Secretary General.
And you think it's totally unreasonable,
unreasonable
for us to criticize somebody like Mzwandile for
call him like
just lying straightforward in the public? The guy goes to cabinet and says, cabinet said X.
No.
Your own colleague, Jeff Hadebe. No. But I don't want to deal with the issue of criticizing the leader.
No, I want
because you are saying we must now be nice to him when he's lying to us.
I am saying call him, scrutinize him. But
you refuse to come to
don't point fingers at the distance, because it makes.
When last did you see Mzwandile conducting a radio
interview
or a TV interview?
At Advocate Mkhwebana's party. I had a nice party with him. I saw him after a long time.
Yeah.
So I don't want this thing of media or any individual casting aspersion amongst leadership of the ANC.
Yeah.
He sits in the ANC. I've never heard.
But your leaders do it by themselves. You know. Okay, let's come to you. Let's not talk Mzwandile. Mzwandile, you are invited. You can come here. We'll debate you. I want you to debate Mzwandile today. Now.
Yeah.
You stand at. You know. You really have to make me understand this thing.
Yeah.
You stand at a rally, right?
Yeah.
Just recently, when President Zuma was appearing at state capture, right?
Yeah.
And in summary, basically say there's no state capture, these people are crazy, and so on. And you are on fire. You know, it's not like you are mincing your words.
Yeah.
Rewind a little. No. I want you to answer the full question. This is a comprehensive question. You can get a class in a complex question, 100 marks.
Yeah.
But earlier on, you, and I tell you, a lot of people praised that, because you came across somebody who's fearless. Right? You were able to say, in the presence of President Zuma, at the MKVA conference in Boksburg.
Yes.
Please, President, right? Tell the Guptas to give us, I'm quoting you verbatim now, to give us space to conduct the revolution.
Yes.
And that thing could not be mistaken. You can't explain it any other way but to say that there was something untoward about what the Guptas were doing. Judge Zondo is trying to find out what these guys did. That's all he's trying to do. Yeah. Now, if you stand there and say this thing is terrible, doesn't exist, and so on, preempting what Zondo is supposed to do, it confuses us. Please explain to me those two incidents. One where you say, President, please tell the Guptas to leave us alone, to help us to conduct the revolution.
Yeah.
Or allow us to conduct it.
No,
and then the next minute you say, there's no state capture, people are crazy, they are President Zuma.
No. JJ, when I said those words, many people were so scared. I got many calls. Hey, can you tell Zuma?
In Boksburg? Or
when I was in Boksburg.
Yeah.
It was at the peak of President Zuma.
Yes.
I realized that if we don't tell him, we will be destroying him.
Ish.
So, and I don't have to say it when he's not there.
Yeah.
And I didn't prepare him. I was with him in the private
holding room. Yeah.
The holding room. So when we came there, I had my speech. And my speech was full of those things. Whether he came or he didn't come, I was going to say that. Maybe I was going to jump that line that day. But I realized that Guptas were becoming a problem,
yeah.
in the country, so somebody needed to speak about it, because also it was becoming difficult for us to defend President Zuma politically, because I don't know his business with the Guptas personally, and I'm not involved. I've never met the Guptas anywhere. That's why I'll never go to Zondo Commission and say, no, when they call me, I never ate any car like others who ate car. So that's one part.
Yeah.
The second thing is that in South Africa, we adopted the most progressive constitution.
Yeah.
You must go and look at section 34, if I'm not mistaken, on how, if I steal your watch, there is a provision on what must happen to you.
Yeah.
So you'll get arrested by the police, you go to court, get convicted, you go to correctional services. I don't believe that commission is relevant. This is my personal view.
Okay.
I don't believe that the Zondo Commission will help us to deal with the complexities of what would have happened. In fact, there are many things that if you are serious about what is going on the Zondo Commission, we should look at. And I challenge you, JJ, and your station and your channel.
Yeah.
Invite legal gurus. I'm not a lawyer. Ask them, how do you prosecute criminals? There is a procedure in the Constitution that is defined. There is no way. That commission is not going to help us. We're actually wasting money. This is my personal view. I don't want you to attribute this to the ANC. It is my view. And I can explain myself when I'm called anywhere tomorrow, because I don't believe that what is going on there. You have people who are lying, like Themba Maseko. He says, hey, the president called me. The president said, when? He said, Baba, we can't be a national...
But why do you say Themba is lying now?
He's lying.
Let's allow the commission to come to a determination.
I'm telling you now, the guy is lying because there is no... I am the mayor, right? And as part of our duties, JJ, and you must understand that all other elected reps, either in the ANC or in the DA, I meet a lot of business people. They come to me and say, Mayor, hey, there is this thing. I say, okay, this is about human settlement. Okay, meet so and so. It's not a license for you to do wrong things. For Themba Maseko to have taken money or attempted to take money, which he didn't take, and give it to the Guptas, it is his business. He must answer. Because President Zuma did not have such a right in law.
But President Zuma admitted that he did help the Guptas. In fact, he helped them to an extent where he was sitting in their meetings planning how the station is going to be. So that one was not because of Themba.
We manage our public finances through Public Finance Management Act, not through presidents. So he knows that. He's got an obligation. When you get a job, I have taken oath. I didn't sign any contract. When I employ a city manager, she signs a contract, what she can do and what she cannot. She's given a pack of law, what she can do. So if you act outside of that, is your problem. That's why that's the issue.
But let's narrow it to my question now in terms of, so you are saying that you don't believe in the Zondo Commission.
No.
It's not a contradiction to what you said when you said the Guptas must stop what they are doing.
No, the Guptas
why don't you allow Zondo to tell us
the Gupta must be tried through a court of law.
But the Commission of Inquiry,
because in the court of law,
which was established by President Zuma, by the way,
look, in the court of law,
can recommend that.
No, in the court of law, you've got clowns like Sisfeki Mantu.
Yeah.
She says, hey, I don't remember. 3 steps, 5 steps. The court will make you to account there, right? So the Zondo Commission, the justice is doing very well. Oh, okay, what happened? He's a very nice guy, but that's not how a justice system does not work like that. I challenge you, call the jury and ask them, how does the justice system work? It doesn't work like that.
We're going to take a break. Okay, but at least you have clarified something. You don't believe the Zondo Commission is of any use.
No.
South Africa, you have heard for yourself. You can, of course, give us a ring or send us your messages. We're going to look at some of your tweets just now within this Rame after the break. Let's take a break now. Okay, welcome back. Our frank interview continues. Mzwandile Masina. I think we're going to need 2 hours with Mzwandile Masina. We'll never finish everything tonight, but I'm sure he'll be back. He's always accessible when we want to talk to him. Lindy, what's happening on social media there?
Well, I'll tell you what, JJ, 2 hours is exactly what we need, given just what we're seeing coming from Twitter, Facebook, and even WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at some of our viewer reactions on Twitter and the questions that have been asked. Matota asking, the first question being, the public library in Springs has been closed since 2018, and that's due to a lack of maintenance. The second is, the public library in KwaThema is so badly damaged due to years of non-maintenance. How does he hope to do better job by building a university when he cannot ensure the running of a library? Let's take a look at what else is being asked. Marie Duplessis asking, please ask Mzwandile that he promised to resign as mayor if Cyril Ramaphosa wins. Well, Cyril Ramaphosa has won. Why is he still the mayor? And the second question being... was that dealt with?
Yeah,
okay, great.
Yeah.
And then the second being, Mzwandile Masina is a prominent member of the Zuma faction. How long will he pretend to like Cyril Ramaphosa? And why is he always displaying ANC ill discipline on Twitter? Let's see what else is being asked. Anonymous coming in on WhatsApp asking, Benoni Plaza has become a haven for drugs and it's left in the hands of drug lords. When is the municipality led by Mzwandile Masina going to clean it up? Anonymous also saying, evening JJ and Mr. Mayor, when are you intending to revive the community liaison unit since the crime is so rife in our townships? All right, well, those are just some of the questions that we've been getting, JJ. As I said earlier on, it is quite busy on the social streets, but it's over to you.
All right, thank you, Lindy. Thank you very much. Lindy, what do you think about the state of Ekurhuleni? I mean, we have had quite a lot of commentary about Tshwane and Joburg recently, but very little on Ekurhuleni.
I mean, JJ, when you look at some of the stories that have come out, especially in that municipality, there's issues of, the toilet scandal that came up. There's issues of, like the tweets say, the maintenance of, basic facilities that people should have access to. The issue of toilets being built in places that are rife with gender-based violence, rape, being one of the violences that are taking place in that area. It's almost as though the people of Ekurhuleni do question some of the decisions that are made by the mayor and those that work with him, and almost, it almost looks like poor planning on the municipality side. So, I mean, I'm eager to hear and find out when it comes to some of these questions that have been raised. What is the mayor doing about that?
Yeah, okay, Linda, I think you must take your camera out there as well, because I'm quite keen. We often just over-focus on Tshwane and Joburg, but Ekurhuleni is a huge municipality. I think you must go out there and just talk to the people on the streets. Bring us some of the voices of the people from there, Lindy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right. Let's just quickly look at let's start with the basic ones, the library stories. Are you aware of the problems raised about this library? I think Benoni Library, as well as there's another library mentioned.
Well, I'm not aware, but what I must bring to the attention of my friends on Twitter is that libraries are the competence of the provincial government, so as the clinics. So you might find that sometimes we do build libraries and hand them over.
Yeah.
So in the process of that, so I don't want to blame the provincial government because we are the leadership there. So what I can assure him is that the matter has been noted, the spokesperson is here, will attend to those issues of libraries that has been raised.
All right, so you'll let us know.
Yes.
You can just attend to it and let us know.
Yes.
And also equally, the university won't be run by the city, am I right? It will be an independent university.
Look, all universities in South Africa are enacted through the Act of Parliament.
Yeah.
Ours was to lobby. We are happy that the President has announced for the university. All those tenderpreneurs who are calling me, please call Minister.
Are they calling you to say,
they must call Minister.
They want to build it.
Yeah, student accommodation, want to pay. How much is this? It is not Mzwandile Masina.
They must call Blade Demand.
Yes, the only last thing, the reason why I'm going to be making noise for the university is on twofold.
Yeah.
Firstly is that we want it to be enacted urgently through the Act of Parliament.
Yeah.
The second thing is that we want to engage the Department of Higher Education on the curriculum of what must come out there, because me and you, JJ, having gone through university, you get 50%, it means that you know 50% of 100% knowledge. So we want to train our students differently so that they can be much more wiser and employable. We've got a lot of graduates that are not employable because of the system. So we think that there is an opportunity in South Africa to introduce a university that is going to do a combination of theory and practice and ensure that by the time you leave university in 4 years, you've got the right experience, but also you've got the
Did you
qualification.
explore a possibility of partnering with something like Wits University and just have a Ekurhuleni campus? Because that way you are piggybacking already on a big infrastructure, big solid resource base. I mean, some of these universities are sitting with huge endowments and what have you. So is this something that you considered? Because in Gauteng, there are so many big universities that could partner with you.
No, what we can do is that the metro is an institution. So we can't have satellite. We can claim now there is a UJ there in Ekurhuleni in Davidton, which was former Vista. But the head office was always in Soweto. So we want our own university so that we can inspire, because the university complex is an economic node, but also it is used to inspire our children to know that after matric there is life. But if you see a TVET college, that's all what will become, and then you blame us. We've been looking at the statistics of our education. That we understand that the interventions we've made, we've paid over the past 3 years about 300 million rand of bursaries. We have over 8,136 students who are in different universities, with 19 in Breda. So we are inspired by the work that we do, and we believe that our University of Science and Technology will be successful, and we are going to be working very close with the Premier of Gauteng as well as the Minister and the President to make sure that this university is realized.
Crime. It looks like there are at least 2 tweets that are about crime. Something called Benoni Plaza, apparently it's a haven for criminals, and then the community liaison units apparently not in place.
Yeah, look, the problem is that sometimes when we deal with citizens, there is a very strong extent of being subjective. Why is he not telling you about the street in Benoni, which has got the highest investment probably of cars, the Dada Motors, more than Sentin? Why does he choose a building that is an ISO other than coming up with suggestion? Because but
are you aware of this Benoni Plaza thing? What is the story there?
No, the building was abandoned.
I see.
So there is some proposals that we are looking at, and I believe
you're going to demolish it.
Well, I don't want to say that now because I'm not an engineer, so I don't want to say things. I know that we are looking into the case of the Benoni Plaza. We'll come up with a plan, but there's a renewal project taking place in Benoni by a private sector, which me and you can go and see. You'll be blown away. I've never seen Rolls-Royce, 40 Rolls-Royce. In one floor.
Wow, amazing stuff.
Why is the person not talking about that development that is taking place?
Maybe he doesn't know, or he's just concerned that
very close.
The criminals.
No, it's very close.
Next to Benoni Plaza.
Yes. So I'm just saying that people must not just come, because let me tell you, anyway, I would not sit here and claim that in Ekurhuleni everything is perfect. There are a lot of shortcomings. We are dealing with them, because I'm not going to solve all the problems. But all what our administration is doing, we're beginning to resolve some of the long-standing challenges, and we're making good headways, and we're proven by a research institution. So an incident, one incident or one tweet is not going to change how we're running government. We are saying, let's use Twitter to inspire or to report things. If there's a pothole, report it, because it will take longer if it's not reported. Once they know that the mayor knows.
But I suppose they're giving you feedback, and good or bad, and sometimes you'll have to take a chaff with the wheat.
That's why I'm saying I always, if you go to my Twitter feed, you'll see that everyone who says there is this problem, I follow up. We've got I'm on WhatsApp with my team. I talk to a last engineer on the line. If there's a problem of energy, as we always experience, they know we will resolve them. It might take a bit long, but there's no challenge that we've not been able to resolve over the past.
And then somebody raised the toilet scandal and whatever. I'm sure that was, you came here to talk about it. I don't want you to repeat the whole story. But what's the summary? Has it been clarified in terms of what happened?
It has been clarified. I saw some newsroom today trying to resuscitate it. It is unfortunate.
Where here?
Not newsroom.
No, another newsroom, you mean?
What is it called? Africa News 24/7.
Oh, I see.
I don't know what is the agenda, but we will follow up. But the point is, we found a situation, the old tender, where we moved from 9,000 toilets to about 40,000 toilets. And they moved from one service provider, which was a monopoly, to about 15 service providers.
With different people
long before our time. So we've made our submission to the MEC, to the Human Rights Commission, to the Public Protector. Anyone who's got any evidence of wrongdoing must come. In fact, at the end of my term, people must come with a tender that we have awarded, which has been checked by the Auditor General, that almost something similar. We did improvements on some of the areas that they've pointed out.
I only talk about that.
But there was no money that was touted.
So there was no corruption?
No.
I want to talk about the issue of clean audits and so on, but let's go to Nkosana in the Western Cape first. Nkosana, good evening.
Good evening, Chief. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you, Chief?
No complaints, JJ. Thank you for allowing me the space. President of SRC at DW in 96, 95, 96, and 97. Thank you very much. I want to direct my question to our mayor there.
Yes, go for it.
Mzwandile,
Yes,
I think is the Reserve Bank, man, as the policy that the Reserve Bank should be nationalized.
I'm betting a little bit to hear. Just speak a bit louder for us. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Since the ANC has passed a resolution to nationalize the Reserve Bank, don't you think there will be a backlash by the imperialist forces there? And the second, the expropriation of land. Should the bill be passed, how are we going to share the land? What are the mechanisms in place?
All right. He's basically
Thank you.
Thank you, Nkosana. He's saying, don't you think there'll be a backlash by imperial forces if you nationalize the bank?
Yeah, well, even if there are backlashes from imperialists, I saw the U.S. is visiting us to check our capabilities. Yeah. I was asking myself, what for? I suspect that they are preparing. But look, in the revolution, there are casualties. So those of us who are here, these are our decisions. We must stand by those decisions. We must never be cowards and worry about imperialists. Yeah. We have fought imperialists, we have fought colonizers and apartheid. So I'm not worried about those people. This is about our people.
If you're in charge, would the Reserve Bank be truly independent? Because what you said earlier was that no, the Reserve Bank will do as we say, right? But our constitution is clear that that's an independent institution that cannot be told how to operate.
No, so the telling of the bank is about expanding the mandate.
Okay.
But it will operate independently, right. Even if I was to be in charge tomorrow.
All right. Okay.
I receive, by the way.
Mzwandile Masina is going to talk to me some more after the break. All right, we're continuing that frank talk with Mzwandile Masina, and the executive producer has given us another 15 minutes. So we'll go up to 15:15. Then at 15:15 we'll take the round table, of course, our business round table tonight, focusing on information security, following that horrible incident where the minister and the deputy minister of intelligence have their phones hacked and copied or whatever, you know. Terrible. I mean, you can just picture what that means for the security of our country in general. So we'll talk about that at the 10:15. Right, let's go now into Ekurhuleni now itself, yes. Right? Almost, 90% of municipalities are always having a negative report from the Auditor General. Besides the wasteful and irregular expenditure, the Auditor General makes another very serious finding, and it's interesting. We're just talking now about this toilet thing, expansion. I've heard you before that you're talking about the dignity of our people, and people mustn't mess with that, you know. But 49% of our municipalities don't have a sanitation plan. 50% don't have a water management plan. This is the Auditor General. I mean, we know that things are bad, but that sounds like terrible, because those are basics that talk about dignity of people. We had a whole round table yesterday looking at Madibe as an example of how not to deal with issues of water, etc. And one of the things that stand out from that conversation is that government is yet to acknowledge that there's a crisis, right? But if you look at just that report, the whole system is in crisis on those two issues of sanitation and water. Yes. What is the situation in Ekurhuleni at the moment in terms of just pure financial governance? Yes. And then secondly, planning. Because Lindy there was raising that maybe there's an issue about forward planning. And maybe there's no issue, but it's your chance to tell me whether I can rest easy when it comes to governance, right? Financial governance in particular, and then planning on water, on sanitation.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that, JJ. I can assure the residents of Ekurhuleni that there are plans for water, for sanitation, for energy. And just to give an example, for instance, when we assumed our responsibility in 2016, we came up with a plan called Aqua Leap. to deal with issues of water.
Okay.
We are now building about 29 additional reservoirs, because the crisis we had identified then is that our water reserve is between 2 to 12 hours, and the norm is about 12 to 24 hours. So,
which means what? When you say our water reserve is 12
meaning
hours?
that if rainwater was to switch you off, can you be able to supply your citizens until such time that they resolve whatever challenge?
I see.
So with these 29, we'll have 550 additional megawatts, which will give us about 36 hours, which is quite good. Probably it will be the first in the country, and I'm sure you can check that. With regard to energy, when we took over office, we make a decision that all the informal settlement must be electrified. Of the 119, we started with the ones that belongs to us. We've got 119 informal settlement. Of those, about 62 or 65 are in our land.
Yeah.
So we don't need a permission from anyone. Of those, I was giving report today to Ekhuruleni, 34 have already been electrified, and the rest are going to be electrified.
Yeah.
But where land is privately owned, we need to engage with the owner. We might not do the rest because of that particular process.
Yeah.
So you can go on and on. So we do have plans. But with regard to the governance, the finances
Yes.
in particular, we've had 3 unqualified audit opinions. The last financial year.
The last 3 financial years.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the last one, what was a plus is that our financial statement were clean audited.
Yeah.
So we were found wanting on other issues in terms of the report. But even there, 7 out of 10 of the challenges that the AG had raised in the previous year have now been resolved.
Dealt with them.
We've dealt
Such
with
as what? Because have you managed to arrest corruption, especially when it comes to paying service providers and things like that, where it's almost a legend that, in the municipalities, you want to be paid, you've got to pay someone, otherwise your invoice will sit there for months until you pay someone.
Yes. For instance, the example is that over the past 2 financial years, we've not incurred any irregular, fruitless or wasteful expenditure.
Okay.
Now, the last financial year, we've moved our irregular expenditure from 215 million to 5 million, and we want to make sure that it's on 0, so that all the major 4 things that the AG looks at, they are being resolved. So our finances are in good health.
And irregular, if you can zone into the irregular, what kind of things would that constitute that irregular? Is it like people not following the process of procurement or what?
For instance, we drill down to check what are the issues there. They say they procured a license from, I'll use an example, from Microsoft, because they need a Microsoft and there is no any other. So the AG says, but you have not checked. They do it through a company that is licensed to do so. So the AG says there might be others, but they argue that in the sub-Sahara, we are the only ones. So we're saying in future we'll avoid those things, but there's not because someone has child money. Look, in the system of government, we've got to fight corruption, because corruption eats the money.
Have you fired anybody since you got to office on corruption at local government? I mean, in your municipality?
Well, for different reasons. I don't want to start, scandalizing people, but we
you don't have to mention them, but have you fired someone for corruption?
We've fired people. We've fired people directly for corruption-related matters. We're now going to implement some measures to make sure that even those that are still doing, but what we've observed, which is what we're going to be working on, is that there is a lot of criminality that takes place outside of our control environment. I can only see what we do in the municipality. If you decide in your own wisdom to call a clerk and say, I'll give you 5,000 rand, push this in, I would not know that thing. But it is corruption.
But your MMCs, are they involved in business?
No. Not a single councillor in the... This is not according to me. According to the latest AG, there is no single employee, no single politician who's involved in business as is linked to the metro. These are the audit results that you can see for yourselves.
Ndumiso Inumtata, good evening.
Good evening, JJ. How are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm afraid, JJ, you'll
What's on your mind?
You'll never get any truth from these guys. And I think it's about time we get to terms that corruption will never see end of corruption in South Africa. The system itself of electing government, allows for corruption. For instance, if Mzwandile Masina wants to be a president tomorrow, he knows that he must lobby. By the time time he wins presidency, he owes those people favors, he owes them tenders, he owes them jobs, and all those things. So the system, until we change it, we'll never see. The country is collapsing. The economy is collapsing. But no one from these guys who are admitting that, no, we have stolen. There was corruption. We've been looting. So I don't know. I think in the leadership, we have liars who are leading us in this country. Secondly, I want to ask Mzwandile.
Yeah.
I've been in Togoza. I stayed there in Togoza in a place called Pola Party. Those guys, every winter time, they have challenges when it comes to lights, electricity. In winter, it's on and off, on and off. What are they doing with that situation? How are they resolving it? Thank you, JJ.
Tokoza, you are saying the problem with what? With light?
Electricity.
Electricity.
Yeah, in Togoza, a place called Pola Party.
All right.
There, in winter, what happens there in winter? Most of the time, they don't have lights there.
All right. Please. Okay, thank you so much, Ndumiso. Mayor Tokoza, what's happening there?
Look, the Polar Park area is a mixture of the RDP and informal settlement.
Yeah.
The entire area is now electrified, but there are portions that are on the servitude that have not been electrified.
Yeah.
So I have gone there personally to try and resolve the problem of Izinyoga Nyoga. People are connecting illegally, so the net effect of that is that you'll have outrages in the main. But there is not a problem that we don't know, and we've resolved the problem. But you know, our network is overloaded. That's why we are building additional substations to make sure that we deal.
Yeah.
But what the caller must share is that for the first time in democracy, there is now electricity in that informal settlement, and we've made sure as this administration that we take care of our people. But outrages, they happen everywhere. They happen in suburbs. They happen in Sandton. They happen in Kempsbay. So these things do happen because we are operating on the basis of old network and our resources are limited. So it will not be right for me to say, no, there will not be load shedding or outrages. Yeah. It will be there. The issue that we must be measured on is the ability to respond on time if there is challenges. Yeah. And I'm saying that we are able with our engineers to make sure that we respond either on water issues, electricity issues, even the waste issues which has given us problems recently. We are able to respond to those.
In talking about electricity, what is the debt situation to ESCOM of your municipality at the moment?
It's zero.
You don't owe them anything?
No.
And then the debt of citizens to ESCOM?
I will not know. I will not know because we buy electricity. We pay about 12 billion rand or so to ESCOM so that we can supply our area. We go and collect. Our collection rate in Ekurhuleni is about 94.2% in terms of our collection. Our citizens are paying. The areas that have got problems, we've got an indigent program that we are ramping up. So we don't have collections problem in the main. But areas where we've identified we do have challenges. We do have programs to ensure that we reach out to those communities. I
know you're not in charge of Soweto, but in the context of what's been happening, it looks like the debt there is out of control. How do you get one metro to have, zero debt and another one to have 18 billion debt? I mean, it sounds like isn't there a common approach by the ANC in the province about how to deal with the issues of debt burden, for example?
Look, the ESCOM issue is a very complex issue because there are some areas, even in Ekurhuleni, that are ESCOM supplied. So I will not sit here and say how much the citizens owe ESCOM because I don't know. We have no business with that. Yeah. But the areas that we buy from ESCOM and we supply, we're in charge in terms of ensuring that we put credit control measures in place. So ESCOM must do their job. They must go and collect from the citizens.
Yeah. Well, the mayor of Johannesburg was marching with the citizens who are saying they don't want to pay. That's why I'm asking you a broad, what you call global city region question. Yeah. Because if Ekurhuleni is doing well there, you need to advise the others how you're getting it right.
You must invite him. He will answer what is.
But you saw that he marched with the people.
I read about it.
No, man. Anyway, let's come back to Ekurhuleni in terms of the plans now. Water sanitation. Are you on top of that situation?
Yes, we've got
from a point of view of planning and so on.
Yes, we recently, have a plan to manage all the bridges. We've got about 192 bridges in Ekurhuleni. We've now identified that 12 of them are default. So we must make sure that we're able to deal with them. So we've got all the plans in place in the city. So we were fortunate enough that the previous administration worked a lot in ensuring that the systems of government are in place. We consolidated those and we've made sure that we move forward. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank them for the work that they were able to do. And we are building on it to bring about improvements that we need.
What are the employment levels in Ekurhuleni of the young people there?
Well, the employment levels are at about 50%. 20% are still looking for jobs, and about 27% are discouraged workers. So we are doing all these interventions that we are doing in terms of reindustrializing our economy. So
27 is discouraged, and the other percent, what is it?
It's about 20% that is
20% unemployment.
That is actively looking for jobs.
Oh, looking for jobs.
Yes. So what we are doing, all our strategies now are around beyond skills development. We are looking at how can we work with business, or small business in particular, to ensure that we create opportunities. Because we believe that private sector must create opportunities, but also how do we support industries in order for us to be able to create jobs. We know that manufacturing plays a critical role. That is why we've approved a Retropolis master plan, which the Minister of Finance announced. We have a pipeline investment of over 300 billion now. And all what we want, they were putting our bulk infrastructure work. We want factories to come up. If you travel R21, you'll see that there's a lot of new factories. Our commitment with those people is to create jobs for our people, because it can't be that we have such a high level of unemployment in the urban cities, because people come here looking for opportunities. We have a responsibility as government to make sure that we deliver jobs to our people.
I want us to talk a little bit, some more about local economic development. You know, whether you have a good collaboration, for example, with NYDA, good collaboration with DTI. There's also a Ministry of Small Business. I want to understand that ecosystem and how that is, how you make sure that matters for somebody who lives in Ekurhuleni. We're talking to Mzwandile Masina. We're going to carry on a little bit more after the break, and after the headlines. But let's take a break now. Thank you, Lindy, for those headlines. A terrible story there, although it's random, dogs mauling somebody. I mean, I just get shivers because I've been bitten by a dog at least 3 times in my life. And that's why I don't have a dog at home. Anyway, that's a different matter altogether. Themba Maseko, good evening to you, Themba.
Thank you, good evening. I hear you talking about dogs.
I was bitten by a dog in my student days in Swaziland and in a free state. You know, so I really am terrified of dogs. How are you, Themba?
Okay, now I am, and I've been harassed on Twitter by people who are telling me that my name is on your show.
Well, Mzwandile Masina saying you told a bloody lie at the State Capture Commission, saying that President Zuma instructed you to do this or the other. Your response?
Oh, the poor mayor. Anyway, the fact is, President Zuma, let's emphasize that, established the commission to investigate all of the stuff, and a lot of us have come out to actually expose the shenanigans that have taken place during what has come to be known as the state capture. But I think that we should give Judge Zondo the opportunity, because I'm under the impression that government and the ruling party is supporting the process, and the ANC itself says it will go and give evidence there. Now, for anybody, a mayor or a president or a premier or a security guard in a school should know that people must be given the chance to give evidence, and it is up to the judge in the commission to actually decide based on the facts that are presented to the commission. So I think that I'm less impressed by somebody who could come on national television and start accusing witnesses who gave evidence under oath in the commission of lying. I just want to know what's his basis for making that argument. Maybe we can understand that.
Mzwandile, do you want to engage with Themba there?
Yeah. When we were employed as a DG, were you not giving a pack of laws and regulations that you must apply in dealing with the public service?
Well, Mayor, I was not only given a pack of laws, I was among those DGs who drafted a lot of those laws.
Yeah.
So what's your question?
Yeah, even better, because the point I was raising to JJ is that there is no way as a mayor, to use myself as an example, having taken oath, having been given the pack of laws that I must, then when I break those laws, I can't blame the next person. I can't say the Premier called me therefore, because I'm committing crime knowingly, because you ought to have known when you had those instructions and executing them that you are doing wrong things. And why did it take you so many years for you to come up and report? And the basis of the issues that I raised here, when I use you as an example, is because I've had argument with you on Twitter to say, why did it have to take a commission for you to speak out if you are a true South African, true patriot who should have spoken out on the wrongdoings? I have done so. I have done so not once, not twice, many times against the Guptas. I don't know them. You probably know the Guptas and you would have visited them. I have never done so. When I first knew...
I'll give you a chance, Tamba.
Just 1 second.
Yeah.
When I first knew about the Guptas, JJ, was in 2009. I was the chief of staff for one of the ministers. So I was told that there is this family that does 1, 2, 3. One of the DGs told me that this family is notorious. Yeah. So when I was invited to go to a meeting, the DG refused, I refused. As a result, I was fired. I never met the Guptas. But secondly, when I was the interim convener of the Youth League, when people were going to eat curry there in Sun City, I phoned, including the president, to say, but these people have just landed here illegally. How dare you explain to South Africans as a public rep that you can go there to be... Those
why you say that Temba could not possibly have been in the same situation as you?
Why did he keep quiet? Temba is a known figure in South Africa. He's not a known person. He could have called the media or issued a statement. Why did it have to take the commission?
All right, let's give him a chance.
The second thing, which I want to come to his issue. The second issue is that there is a PFMA in South Africa in how you... So he says, I was listening very well to his... He says that, no, President says give them a business. There is nothing like that in law, because he should have told the President that this is illegal. I did not get a sense that he told him, but instead he projected himself in the commission to have participated in the wrongfulness of whatever
all right, we're going to run out of time. I want him to respond briefly. Pratemba, what's your response?
Let me just give a quick response. I think let me just help the good mayor. He says I waited for the commission to expose the Gupta thing is clearly incorrect. I was among the first people to go out in public and expose what the Guptas were saying. But secondly, when the NEC of the ANC, his party, actually called for people who had been approached and pressurized and bulldozed and bullied by the Guptas to give business to them, I was the first and the only one who prepared a document and met with the SG, with the Matasha, to present evidence that I've been bullied by the Guptas. So it is actually factually incorrect. That's the first thing. Secondly, at no stage did they say the president instructed me to give business to the Guptas. All President Zuma did at the time was to say I must go and help his friends, the Gupta family. And I went to the meeting. He did not tell me what the Gupta family wanted. He said, I must go and help them. He used those words. I went to the meeting with the Guptas, and in the meeting, then they told me they demanded money from GCIS to actually fund their businesses. So just get your facts right, Mr. Mayor.
All right, so your last bite, before I let Temba go.
So I just wanted to ask you a question, because it's exactly what I'm saying, that did you not know at that point that whatever request they were making was illegal in terms of the applicable laws that you had to apply?
You're just saying he should have spoken immediately. Is that what you're saying?
And I went to the Guptas. I didn't know what he wanted me to help them with. I got to the Guptas. They demanded 600 million rand from GCIS, at which point I refused. And they said I will be fired, and that's how I was fired. I refused to help them.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Bratemba, you must come and visit us again. But thanks for calling in. Mzwandile, thank you for engaging. Thank you, Bratemba, for calling us.
Thank you. Pleasure.
All right. Temba Maseko, the former GCIS CEO, phoning there to engage. We've run out of time, but I want to just ask one or two questions about the state of the city. Right? How is the coalition government propelling the issue of economic development? In other words, are there things that you believe you are achieving because of the coalition government? Is it an ideal setup? We see them collapsing all over. The Joburg one has collapsed, Pretoria has collapsed, Nelson Mandela has collapsed. Give me a sense of how yours is working out.
Well, coalition government are a reality in South Africa, and all of us have got to find a way in which we can work around them. But I must confess that they're also very complex because they come, you can imagine an organization like the ANC, we've got an alliance already. Yeah. 3 different organizations plus the ANC. Now you've got other organizations that we must, which you do not even share an ideology with. But we have made sure that we set up basic principle of the coalition, and no one is stepping out of those. We said we want a stable government that functions and that continues to deliver for our people. And we've stuck to that particular mandate. But from time to time, there are a lot of temptations of some spoils that comes with it. We have resisted it on the basis of what is before us, and we do get under pressure from time to time, but we are holding on, and we believe that we will sail through this particular coalition government. And it really, many other parties have also helped us to refocus on some of the areas like security, like economic development, and we've really taken some of the good suggestions that we are now implementing. That is why, for instance, if you can see, the combination of the land release program is the ideas of the ANC and the PAC. The ideas of a strong and stable security is the idea of the ANC and IRASA. So each and every party has got a role to play in the coalition government, and we do respect each other, but also we make sure that everything that we do is official, is minuted, is documented, and we have no underhand dealings, because that's what creates problems. Yeah. There have been instances where people have demanded things that we've not been able to do. We've not given up. We've not been able to give in that extent. So we expect that running towards the end of the term.
Yeah. The IEC, have you reconciled with them? Because they seem to have been coming out guns blazing, saying that they've had enough of the coalition government there.
No, the AIC are okay. We are working with them. Yeah. From time to time, the relationship is managed nationally. From time to time, there are issues. But there is some individuals who are not even government, who are chacharach, who just comes out when they pick up something in the news without asking, without any facts. Yeah. In law, they come up and say, there's corruption here, this thing must go. But, when you come to council, you'll see that the AIC councillors are matured. They understand what we've been able to do. They understand how we've been able to uplift their own constituencies without corruption, because those who are going around making noise are those who want us to do wrong things, and we are refusing to go that particular route.
Right. We're going to have to leave it there. Mzwandile, hopefully we can talk to you again in the future. All the best with the state of the city. We'll be watching that with interest as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. That's Mzwandile Masina, the Executive Mayor of Ekurhuleni. State of the City address coming up soon, and of course we'll be looking forward to what plans they've got for you as a citizen of Ekurhuleni. Let's take a break now.